If you're a regular viewer of our Carbuyer reviews, you'll have probably noticed that a bit of a pattern has emerged. Matt, the Matt, normally gets the keys to cars like these. While I, being a mum, gets to drive the family cars. But this time I wrestled Matt to the ground and managed to get my hands on the keys to this, the Leon Cupra. This is the hottest ever version of SEAT Leon Cupra, but it isn't as in your face as some of its rivals. You get specially designed bumpers and a little spoiler, dual chunky chrome exhaust pipes, and 19-inch alloys with red brake calipers. But that's really about it. Unlike the Honda Civic Type R, SEAT have kept things classy and they've kept things subtle, which means it hasn't strayed too much into boy racer territory. Now that's until you fire up the engine, because this is an out-and-out hot hatch. The Cupra is one of the fastest front-wheel drive cars on the planet and uses the same 2-litre turbocharged petrol engine found in the Golf GTI, which has been modified to squeeze even more power out of it. The result is a car that feels sensationally quick on the road and hits 0 to 60 from rest in less than 5.7 seconds. Now that's significantly faster than the 6.5 seconds of the Golf GTI and the even slower Focus ST. Cornering and braking is just as impressive thanks to the suspension. It's really forgiving during day-to-day driving, but it sharpens up to deliver sports car-like responses when you want them. Now there's a lot of technology working under the surface to maximise grip and to keep the Cupra going exactly where you steer it. But you can also turn some of this tech off and have a bit of a play to get plenty of driver involvement if you really want to have some fun and really go for it. I'm a really big fan of the steering, which really cleverly adapts to the driving conditions. If you're around town or you're parking, you don't need to use it so much, but put the Cupra into a bend and it sharpens up, you get much more feel and it's just far more dynamic. Now you can choose between 4 different profiles depending on how you want the car to be set up, and they're all pretty self-explanatory. Individual, which lets you kind of play around with things, you've got comfort and you've got sport, and there's also a Cupra setting. Now what that does is just really tighten things up, tightens up the steering, tightens up the ride. It generally gives a noisier and I guess a far more raw experience. Now the choice between manual and automatic gearboxes, I guess ultimately just comes down to personal choice. The manual is undoubtedly going to be the more entertaining of the two. But I do like the fact that this 6-speed automatic gearbox just offers real lightning quick shifts without you ever having to take your hands off the steering wheel. It's also ever so slightly more economical, with SEAT claiming around 44 miles to the gallon. I've been driving it around in Cupra mode and I've been getting around 33, which I think is pretty respectable. Although, come on, let's face it, if you're in the market for this car, fuel economy, it's not really going to be top of the list, is it? This is going to be top of the list. One thing the Cupra shows is that performance can be practical too. This car is equally at home on the circuit or outside the supermarket. All of the Cupra's extra kit is hidden away underneath the bonnet, which means that it hasn't had any impact on the space in here, so that's just as good as the models lower down the range. Don't forget, this is a great car designed for families. In fact, it won Best Family Car at the Carbuyer 2014 Car of the Year Awards. The doors open nice and wide for easy access. There's plenty of legroom, lots of headroom, and inside there's well thought out storage spaces and decent sized glove box. Everything feels well built and sturdy, and the doors close with a very reassuring thud. Now 4 adults will have no trouble at all fitting comfortably in here. I know I'm only 5'4", but look at the amount of headroom and legroom you get. And we checked it out with the 6-foot guy behind the camera and he fits in here with absolutely no problems. You also get 2 Isofix points, pockets on the back of the seats and good sized door bins. And if you're a littlie, then you'll be able to squeeze into this central seat for shorter journeys. Of course this is great fun to drive, but it is also a brilliant practical family car. And when you're done with the supermarket shop, the hatchback makes loading and unloading those bags easy, with a decent sized boot that beats the space in the Focus ST and matches that in the Golf GTIs. One downside though is that only a tyre repair kit is standard, so you'll probably want to pay extra for an optional space-saving spare wheel for added peace of mind. And I guess if I'm being really picky, then the subtle styling just may not be distinctive enough for some. Oh Matt, for goodness sake. If you're looking for a sporty hatch that stands out from the crowd, check out Matt's review of the Honda Civic Type R. Or for something more classy but less powerful, Matt's review of the VW Golf GTI. See, I told you, he does all the hot cars. Click on the play icon for our latest video, or on our logo to subscribe, or on the links below the video if you're watching on mobile.